Back to Australia, two fearless politicians that are well and truly no sooks, no lefties. Senator Alex Antic and Senator Pauline Hanson join us both now for a big debate this evening. There is plenty to talk about, including the Prime Minister blames the media for platforming people in the No campaign. Oh, Senator Antic, I thought it was only supposed to be yes people in a free democracy we could hear from.
Yeah, well, that's right, Paul. It depends where you're tuning into, not on this station, of course, but certainly on the ABC and the halls of Parliament as well, I might say. It's very much a one-speed arrangement in there. We've spent almost 4 weeks back in Parliament, and I got to tell you, the mood around that building is deflating by the minute as a result of what we're seeing in the polls and The Voice, and so it should. And the tactics are getting more and more bizarre and more creative, if you will, and now it seems to be, don't let them speak. So that's consistent. That's consistent with the way the left roll, and we're just going to keep fighting it and keep making sure we get a no case through.
Pauline, it wouldn't surprise you when you walk in any street in Queensland or anywhere else in the country. What is it? 75% of people say the number one job of the federal government, do something about cost of living, because after all, that's what you promised.
That's exactly right, Paul. It's the number one topic, the issue that people are actually talking to me about. And I see it when I go and do my shopping. I can't believe it. You buy about 10 or 15 items and you're paying near $100 for it. It's just ridiculous. And I always think, how are people affording this to feed their kids? And this is why we see a big drop in people going to pubs and clubs now, going out. The more of them are actually cooking at home. We see the drop in the takeaways as well. So people can't afford it. But it really distresses me when I heard what you said, people turning off their lights in their own homes, turning off heaters, people can't afford electricity. And Paul, I'll keep saying it time and time again, this all extenuates from climate change policy of actually putting in all this renewable energy. Your cost of electricity has gone up over 300%, and that's where it all stems from. Reduce the cost of electricity, you will see a reduction in cost of living.
Well, Alex, simple tip, and I say this to One Nation as well, or anyone else who's running against the government. You know those fridge magnets that you guys always send out every year to us as part of the parliamentary budget? Can you also advise people to put the bill, their electricity bill from May of 2022 under it and double check whether 275 is better off at the next election, and that's your decision done. But Alex, we live in this world of bullshit where apparently the cost of transition isn't really a cost, when the energy companies themselves are telling us that the billions of dollars it takes to go from one type of vehicle to another type of vehicle, to continue the metaphor of cars and racing, despite the fact it's only got 3 wheels, but they say it'll still break the record at Bathurst, it's going to cost normal people. And we're starting to see with right track, wrong track, people are starting to see it. But when will they start to notice that it is this government that's putting the hammer down and making it harder?
Yeah, it's spot on. I mean, it's actually, I think we're getting to that definitive moment, I think, where the bills are coming in. Sadly for people, it's getting very, very expensive. I mean, where I live around here in Adelaide, there's one side of the street that is covered in climate action now signs, and I keep coming back to it. There are these signs floating up around which have been very effective in terms of local viral marketing. But every time I walk past one, I think to myself, does this person really know what sort of enterprise they're involved in? Do they really understand what the bigger picture is here? And Pauline's quite right. This is ultimately costing people real money. And for what? I mean, what is the purpose of all this transition? We are 1% of the world's emissions.
Correct.
We cannot, in anyone's maths, be able to make a single scrap of difference here. We are harming ourselves, and we are allowing the radical left to take us down a dangerous path that will take us decades to get off if we don't move quickly.